He didn't look up from his phone as I lugged 3 department store bags through the front door. The wind was cutting sideways. My knuckles were red. The front porch light wasn't on. "Mom says you're a loser who'll never be happy," he said, thumbs still scrolling TikTok. All 30 guests in the living room laughed, except me. I just nodded once, set the bags down, and took off my coat. That was the moment I left. Not physically, not yet, but something inside me stood up, walked out, and didn't come back. My name's Dean Whitaker. I'm 48 years old, divorced, and I'd spent the last 14 years trying to be the kind of father mine never was. Turns out it didn't matter. My son Jackson is 16, tall, smart, athletic, social media fluent. He looks like me but doesn't speak like me. He used to call me his hero. That was before the iPhone came between us like glass. Christmas Eve. Our house was packed with my ex-wife's family. Her fiancé, wealthy, polished, half my age, was holding court by the fireplace, explaining crypto to 2 teenagers who didn't care. I was in the kitchen, loading disposable plates into the trash, when Jackson walked in. "Did you bring the PlayStation 5? He asked. No hello, no eye contact, just demand. "It's in the trunk," I said, still wrapped. He nodded like I'd done my job and walked out. Later I carried the rest in alone. The gaming chair, the rare sneakers, the jersey he begged for last year. Over $1,200, 3 stores, 1 bad knee. No one offered to help. Not his mom, not her new fiancé, certainly not Jackson. When I set the last box down under the tree, I looked up. He was laughing on the couch, phone inches from his face. "Look at this," he said to his cousin. "Dude gets hit with a shovel, rewinds it like 10 times. They both cracked up. I was standing 6 feet away, invisible. After dinner, I gave him one small gift, early. Just something personal. A hardcover graphic novel, first edition, signed by the artist. He opened it, flipped through 2 pages, and said, "Cool." Then he set it down, face first, and picked his phone back up. 15 minutes later, I saw it in the trash under a paper plate and a half-eaten breadstick. That night, I stayed on the couch. The guest room had been taken by one of her sisters and her boyfriend. At 1:04 a.m., I got up to use the bathroom and heard voices from upstairs. Jackson and his mom, door half open. I don't even know why he comes here," he said. "Like, what's the point?" A pause. "Be nice," she replied, yawning. "You know he's sensitive," he laughed. "Yeah, pathetic." I stepped back before the floor creaked. Didn't sleep the rest of the night. Christmas morning, he unwrapped everything. Didn't say thank you once. Posted a story on Instagram. "Best Christmas ever, thanks, Mom." I watched from across the room. No tag, no glance. The jersey was already on him. He wore it while hugging her fiancé for the camera. I didn't ask for a picture. Didn't make a speech, just cleaned up wrapping paper while they played with gadgets I bought. That night, I sat in my truck for 3 hours with the engine off. Hands on the wheel, eyes on the driveway. I thought about the time I missed my own mother's funeral to take Jackson to a soccer tournament out of state. He was 9th, scored twice. I cried in the hotel bathroom that night so he wouldn't see me break. He doesn't remember the trip. When I came back inside, the house was dark, everyone asleep. I stood in the kitchen, poured a glass of water, and opened the drawer under the phone charger. Pulled out a manila envelope I hadn't touched in 4 years. Inside, 1 prepaid debit card, APO box address, copies of bank statements, a flash drive, my birth certificate, everything I'd need to disappear, ready before I ever thought I'd use it. Jackson's bedroom door was open a crack. He was asleep, one arm hanging off the side of the bed, mouth open. I stood there for a minute, not out of sentiment, just confirmation. This was the last time I'd ever stand on this side of that door. I didn't say goodbye. Not when I left the next morning. Not when I shut the front door and walked out into the cold with nothing but my jacket, keys, and a manila envelope. No one noticed. I stayed in a motel 27 minutes outside town. Cash only. Room 12. The curtains didn't quite shut all the way, and the bathroom light flickered when you ran the sink. I didn't care. I plugged in my phone and opened the banking app. Joint accounts, credit cards, subscription services. I didn't cancel them. I just turned off access. 2 taps. That's all it took. His phone plan? Gone. Netflix? Logged out. Spotify? Buffering. The house Wi-Fi? Disabled. I sat back and watched the confirmation emails roll in like snow flurries. 15 years of family digital infrastructure, all under my name. They'd forgotten that. My name was still on the mortgage, still on the utilities, still on the original cable contract, even though her new fiancé paid the upgraded package. They never bothered to change any of it. At 10:18 a.m., I walked into the local branch of my bank and transferred the emergency savings, my personal one, not the joint, into a new trust account. The teller asked if I needed help closing anything else. I told her not yet, but soon. That afternoon, I drove to the storage unit I hadn't visited in 3 years. Unit number 54, back row, right next to the chain link fence that buzzed when it rained. Inside, one box of old tax returns, a duffel bag with camping gear, and a plastic tub labeled Photos. I opened it. Top photo was of Jackson at 5, standing on a dock in a Spider-Man hoodie, arms out like he could fly. His mom was cropped out of the frame. I'd done that years ago. I sorted through the stack and kept 5. Just 5. One from his first day of kindergarten, one at a ball game, one at the hospital when he broke his arm, one of him sleeping in the back seat after a road trip, and one of us both before everything went quiet between us. The rest I left in the tub. I shut the lid and turned off the light. At 3:02 p.m., I called the cell provider, explained that the secondary line on the plan had been compromised. They asked if I wanted to deactivate it or remove access. Remove, I said. Permanently. They read me a script about potential service disruptions and emergency access. I said I understood. Then I hit confirm. Jackson's phone went dark 3 minutes later. That night, I sat on the motel bed staring at the blank wall across from me. It had a smear of something just above the headboard. Maybe coffee, maybe worse. I didn't care. I opened a blank note on my phone and typed 3 things. Remove from will, deactivate shared Apple ID, change POA documents. I stared at that last line for a while. Power of attorney. He never asked what it meant when I first filed it. Never cared who'd have the authority if something happened to me. He assumed I'd never need it, that I'd always be around, waiting, funded, forgiving. He was wrong. The next morning I drove back into town, not to see them, just to finish things. I parked 3 blocks from the house and walked to the legal office next to the hardware store. 3rd floor, elevator was broken. My lawyer, Daniel, was an old friend, someone I hadn't talked to in 2 years. He raised an eyebrow when I walked in. You're finally doing it? He asked. I'm not burning the house down, I said. I'm just leaving it unlocked. He nodded, didn't ask questions, just pulled out a form. Executor change? I nodded again. At 12:47 p.m., I logged into our streaming hub dashboard, something I'd built myself when I worked in IT before downsizing took me out. I toggled access one by one. HBO Max, removed. Hulu, removed. Prime Video, removed. Nest Security, revoked admin rights. By 12:58, the house was still standing, but they were locked out of everything. They'd feel it slowly, like frostbite. I left town at sunset, didn't tell the motel I wasn't coming back, didn't check my voicemail, didn't bring my wedding ring. The only thing I took was the black backpack. Inside, 1 change of clothes, 5 photos, a signed letter of resignation for the job I hadn't shown up to since Monday, my father's watch, and a copy of Jackson's birth certificate, folded into a silent crease. The bag felt lighter than I expected, like it had already been emptied. The last thing I did that night was log into the shared Apple ID. His text history was still syncing. Where is everything? Netflix won't work. Did Dad cancel my phone? I need my hotspot for class. Mom says call her. Your plan is dead. I scrolled through them like reading graffiti in a language I no longer needed to understand. I didn't reply. I disabled the ID, set up a new one, and kept the last message unread. Dad? Hello? I turned off the screen, tossed the phone into the motel trash, got into bed, slept like I hadn't in years. 3 days after Christmas, the front door was unlocked. The lights were off, the heat was off, the silence was deliberate. Jackson stepped inside and said my name. There was no answer. 2 nights earlier, I'd parked 3 blocks from the house. Midnight. No cars in the driveway, no lights upstairs. I let myself in with the spare key they forgot I had. Same one I used to keep taped under the 3rd brick, left side of the porch. No one ever removed it. I didn't pack. I extracted. I started in the basement. The camping gear? Gone. The toolboxes? Gone. The old fireproof safe? Emptied. The backup hard drives? Wiped. Upstairs, I didn't take the couch. Didn't take the TV. I left the illusion of normalcy behind, but I did take the Wi-Fi router. Unplugged it like a vein. Left the Ethernet cable on the floor, limp and uncoiled. The printer was still humming in sleep mode. I fed it 1 sheet of paper. Typed 4 lines. Folded it. Set it on the table. No salutation. No signature. In Jackson's room, I opened his closet and stared. Shoes in rows, hoodies in heaps, 2 shelves of unopened gifts. I didn't touch any of it, not even the gaming chair. But I did take the Apple Watch I bought him 2 years ago. Not because it was expensive, because I saw a notification on it from his mother. Is he gone yet? I slipped it into my pocket and walked out. In the garage, I opened the electrical panel and flipped 2 breakers. Living room, kitchen. I left the hallway lights on, just enough glow to illuminate absence. I placed the black backpack in the center of the dining room table, zipped, untouched since the motel, Then I walked back outside, locked the door behind me. I slept in the truck that night, not because I had to, because I needed to hear the quiet. No one called, no one texted, no one cared where I was. It confirmed everything I already knew. The next morning I sat at a cafe in the next town over, burner phone in hand, fresh coffee, one pastry. I logged into the utilities dashboard, scheduled service terminations, electric, off in 12 hours, gas, off next billing cycle, water, pending disconnect, they'd get the notices in the mail. I wouldn't. At noon, I visited the DMV, filed for a new address change to a P.O. box I'd paid for in cash, updated my forwarding instructions. Then I went to a nearby bank and opened an account under my middle name. No card, no checkbook, just the account. I moved $16,200 into it. It wasn't much, but it was mine. At 4:23 p.m., I walked into a shelter just south of the county line. Adopted a dog, 7 years old, black lab mix. His name was Max. No tags, no history, just quiet eyes. We drove until sundown. No destination, no map. Back at the house, Jackson was standing in the foyer, phone in hand, signal blinking, no Wi-Fi, no service. He said my name again, still no answer. He walked into the kitchen, opened the fridge, empty, tried the light switch, nothing. He saw the note, read it twice. Then he saw the backpack. He unzipped it slowly. Inside, a framed photo of us at the park, his hospital bracelet from when he was 7, the ticket stub from the game where he hit his first home run, a flashlight, a signed copy of the graphic novel he threw away, and a prepaid phone with one number saved. Don't. He sat down in the chair I left behind, stared at the bag for a long time. Then he checked his phone again. No signal, no notification, no father. I didn't always feel like a ghost. There was a time Jackson would wait at the window when I came home, 5 years old, hands on the glass, mouth pressed into a circle, his version of a smile. I used to think I could keep that version of him alive. The day he was born, I missed a promotion. I didn't tell anyone. I was in line for a supervisor role, first in 10 years. My boss called while I was pacing the delivery hallway. I need a decision, he said. I could hear the urgency in his voice. I told him I'd call back. He didn't wait. I didn't regret it. Not at the time. We had matching shirts when he was 3. Both said, Whittaker strong. His mom hated them. Don't turn him into a clone, she said. But he loved them. Wore his until the lettering faded off. Mine's still folded in the bottom of my drawer. I never wore it again. He used to fall asleep in the back seat. After soccer, after birthday parties, after nothing. I'd pull into the driveway and just sit there, sometimes for 20 minutes. No radio, no phone, just the sound of him breathing and the warm hum of a moment no one else would remember but me. When he broke his arm at 7, he didn't cry until we got to the ER, and only because the nurse put an IV in. I held his hand, told him stories, let him squeeze my thumb so hard it turned purple. He didn't let go until they sedated him. When he woke up, he asked for his mom. She didn't answer her phone until the second day. The last time we took a vacation, he was 9, canoeing in Wisconsin. He fell in the water trying to grab a leaf. I hauled him out, soaked, freezing, scared. He laughed the whole time, said it was the best day ever. He drew a comic about it the next week. It's still in a drawer in my old desk. He stopped drawing by the time he was 11, said it was for babies. When the divorce started, he was too young to understand. I moved into a rental half a mile away, close enough to drop off lunches when his mom forgot, far enough that I was always the first arriving, never the first waiting. She called it co-parenting. I called it background noise. At 13, he blocked my number, said it was an accident, said it was just a new phone, said, I didn't even notice. It stayed that way for 8 months. I bought him a dog when he was 10, a rescue mutt with one ear that stuck up like a flag. He named him Dusty. 3 years later, Dusty was gone. His mom said it was allergies. I never found out where they took him. He never asked. Last Christmas, I bought him a camera. Nice first DSLR, full kit. He liked photography for about a week. Then he left it on the floor of his closet until the battery died. I found it while packing. The SD card was empty. When he turned 16, he didn't invite me to the party. Said it was just friends. I left the keys to the used car I bought him in the mailbox. No boo, no note. I watched him drive it on Instagram stories. He tagged his mom, wrote, best gift ever. The last time he said, I love you, he was 12. I don't remember what I said back. Probably, I love you too. Maybe always. I wish I remembered the tone. I wish I'd paid attention. Because now, it feels like that version of him never existed. People think heartbreak is loud. It isn't. It's quiet. It's opening a drawer and finding a picture he doesn't remember taking. It's hearing your name in a sentence and realizing the tone has changed. It's walking into a room and knowing you're tolerated, not wanted. It's watching a child who once clung to your pant leg scroll past you like an ad he doesn't want to see. The night I disappeared, I looked at my phone one last time. No new messages, no missed calls. The last thing I saw was a photo he posted, smiling with his mom, captioned, "Family." I clicked report, not because of the photo, because of the lie. Then I powered the phone down, left it in the motel trash, and took Max for a walk. The first missed payment was the phone bill, then the internet, then the car. By the end of the first week, the house was warm only when the sun came through the windows. I didn't answer the first call, or the second. The third came from a blocked number. I declined it before the second ring. The utilities were in my name. So was the mortgage. She never thought to change them. He never thought to ask. I called the bank and paused the auto payments. No notice, no warning, just stopped feeding the machine. The next billing cycle triggered flags. The month after that triggered late fees. Jackson posted on Instagram 4 days after I vanished. A black screen with white text. Does anyone know where my dad is? His mother didn't share it. His friends didn't comment. I didn't answer. The power company shut down the electric on the 17th. The gas followed on the 20th. I watched it all from a library computer 3 towns away. No logins traced back. No locations pinged. Just clean silence. They found the prepaid phone in the backpack. Jackson powered it up. Only one number was saved. Don't. He tried it 3 times. Straight to voicemail. No greeting. No tone. Just nothing. He left a message the 3rd time. "Dad, please, can you call me?" He hung up too quickly to say sorry. The dog shelter sent me a thank you email for adopting Max. I clicked unsubscribe. Didn't need reminders. He never asked about Dusty. Never visited the place they took him. Never cared where he went. Now he knew what that felt like. By week 2, the school emailed his mom about attendance issues. She called the district, blamed the internet outage. They offered to mail a Chromebook. She said she didn't have a mailbox. I already had the forwarding address. The car loan was in default by day 18. Her fiancé co-signed. I wasn't listed, but she used the trust fund deposit as income documentation. The trust was gone. They repossessed the SUV on a Friday afternoon. Jackson watched from the window. He didn't post about it. Her fiancé called me once. I saved the number as regret. Never opened the voicemail. Deleted it blind. The family group chat I'd been in for 7 years got a notification. Dean has left the group. Then, Dean removed Jackson. Then, Dean removed Amanda. No messages followed. Just silence. A lawyer called on her behalf, demanded access to joint assets. I sent a fax with 1 sentence. There are no joint assets. She tried to challenge it. My lawyer replied with tax records, transfer logs, trust paperwork, and 15 years of documentation. She stopped replying after that. I saw Jackson in town once. Didn't plan it. Didn't expect it. He looked older, tired. His hair was longer. He was standing at the edge of a gas station parking lot, phone in hand, staring at a map, probably looking for me. He turned. Our eyes met. He squinted. I walked away before he figured it out. The burner phone vibrated that night. 1 text. "I'm sorry." No name. No punctuation. I left it on red. They'd always assumed I was the backup plan, the fallback, the foundation that just stayed. They were wrong. I was the one who could vanish. And I had. I heard from the realtor 2 weeks later. House had sold. Fast. Below market. She didn't want to fight for it. Didn't have the credit. Didn't have the name on the deed. She said it was unlivable. Said it felt haunted. She wasn't wrong. The place I ended up wasn't much. 1-bedroom rental near a lake. No TV. No couch. Just a bed, a table, and a coffee maker with a cracked carafe. Didn't need anything else. Max sleeps near the door. Doesn't bark. Doesn't whine. Just lifts his head when the mail slides under the door, then lays it back down. Sometimes I think he knows more about loyalty than most people I've known. Mornings are simple now. Coffee. A walk with Max. Then I write. Not stories. Not letters. Just lines. Truths I never said aloud. You made me feel replaceable. I gave everything and you laughed. I didn't disappear. I was erased. I never send them. They aren't for him. I kept 5 photos. They sit in a drawer I don't open unless it rains. The one of us at the park is the only one I framed. It's not on the wall. It's in a box, under the bed. Sometimes I take it out, look at it, not for the memory, for the reminder that once, for a few short years, he smiled like he meant it. He posted something on his new Instagram a few weeks ago. Burner account still worked. A black and white photo of a sunrise with the caption, "I miss you." He didn't tag anyone, but I knew. He emailed me once, said he was doing better, said he got a part-time job, said he understood now how hard things had been, said he hoped I was okay. I didn't reply, not because I was angry, not because I wanted him to hurt, because sometimes You need to live with the silence, just long enough to understand what noise used to mean. I never changed my number. Just don't answer it anymore. The phone rings sometimes. Most go to voicemail. None get returned. Except one. Her fiancé called again, this time from a blocked number. Left a voicemail. Just so you know, he's hurting. He won't say it, but he is. I deleted it before it finished playing. I got a letter from the school district. Apparently, Jackson graduated late, but still finished. They wanted an emergency contact. I didn't fill it out. Just mailed it back with a post-it note. Not applicable. Sometimes I see boys his age at the gas station or the coffee shop. One of them laughed once. Same rhythm as Jackson. I turned my head too fast. Spilled my coffee. Didn't go back there after that. I started volunteering at a shelter. Nothing heavy. Cleaning bowls. Sorting towels. The people there don't ask about your past. Just whether you can show up on time and keep the noise down. I'm good at both. Max likes the lake. We go there every Saturday. He sits beside me on a wooden bench while I read. Sometimes I talk to him. Just small things. What the sky looks like. What I forgot to buy. What I wish I'd said. He never answers, but he listens better than most. The last thing I did was open the backpack. It still smelled like the house. Not the house itself, just the years. I took out the birth certificate, tore it in half, dropped it in the trash. Then I picked up the photo, looked at it one more time, and slid it back into the frame. No closure, no reconciliation, no grand message. Just this: I'm still here. He isn't. And for the first time in a long time, that's enough. That's all for this story. I'll be back with another one. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It motivates me to create more content like this.